Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well, and welcome to these couple of Home Affairs Committee meetings where you will have quite a few unhappy MPs getting it both barrels from their own constituents, rather irate about trying to sort out problems with their renewed passports. So now these MPs want answers from a certain Thomas Greig, Director of Passport, Citizenship and Civil Registration. And we'll start off with the Chair of the Select Committee, Dame Diana Johnson, to tear him a new backside.
That would be helpful.
Okay, thank you. Could I just ask you about the backlog? When the second permanent secretary appeared before the Public Accounts Committee earlier this year, she was questioned about the 500,000 backlog in the Passport Office. Are you able to tell us what the backlog is today?
So I will give some numbers, but if I might just start by giving a bit of context, if that's possible, because I think it is important to give context around these figures. So, as you've said, we're in a position where we are expecting a record number of passport applications. We've received and processed nearly 5 million passport applications so far this year, so that is more than we processed in the entire of last year. So the numbers are all, in this context, very big. We are at the moment outputting between 200 and 250,000 applications a week, and we will continue to do that throughout the course of the summer. So at month end, the number of applications pending were around 550,000, but that is falling at a rate of about 60,000 a week. So I would say, and we can only use month end figures because they're the properly audited figures, that we are probably at the range of the low 400,000s at the moment. But as I say, just to contextualise that, many of those applications will have been made very recently, and also we are outputting a significant number of applications every month. So I wouldn't, that's our total work in progress for UK applications, but I would certainly not class that as a backlog. We always carry a normal level of working stock, and given the high volumes of applications in the system, it's not unusual for that to be relatively high at this time of year.
What, as high as, what did you say, 440,000?
Well, I would say so at month end it was around 500. It was just over 550,000, and at this stage I would expect it to be in the low 400,000s. But as I say, we don't have audited figures. But I just want to give you an idea of how the numbers are coming down.
And how many of those are over 10 weeks?
So at that point, so at the end of month period, about 10% of those applications were under 10 weeks, and about half of those, that 10%, were applications which were available to outcomes, so were available to the decision maker to make a decision.
Sorry, just so we're clear on that. So you're saying 550,000, you're saying 10% of those are over 10 weeks?
Yeah, so 10% of those were over 10 weeks at the end
so
of
that's
the
5,500. 55,000. Sorry, I'm not doing my maths correctly, am I?
Of which about half were available to decision makers, were available at that stage to decision makers to make a decision.
So roughly, there's still 25,000 that are not with a decision maker or available for a decision to be made.
So just to say, when I say not available for a decision to make, that's not because we don't have someone ready to do it. It's because we are awaiting something from the applicant. There are always a proportion of applications that, for various reasons, are awaiting further information from an applicant, and in some cases they have been for a considerable length of time. So the differentiation I'm making is between applications that can be resolved and that can't be resolved. I think if I might also just give a bit of context for where I think we are service-wise at the moment, that would be helpful. So, as I think ministers have said in Parliament, and we've said on a number of occasions, we have reached record levels of output, and in doing so we have delivered a really I think, a decent service for the vast majority of our applicants. However, there are a smaller proportion of applicants, which are the numbers that we're talking about here, for whom we really haven't delivered the service that we would like to. And our whole focus at the moment is on trying to resolve those applications and put some mitigations in place to make sure that those people can access their passports if they need them urgently. So I would like to just contextualise the numbers by saying that, saying that is. And just sorry, I might one more thing, Chair. I do think it's worth us saying that we accept that is an issue, and that I'm personally, and we're very sorry for people who have got into that more difficult situation. We're putting lots of measures in place to try and make sure that we can resolve their applications as soon as we can.
Okay, I think the reason why we're here today is because I think for all members of Parliament, our offices have been inundated with people who are struggling to get their passports. And the figures that you've just quoted to us, I have to say I'm fairly shocked, those figures that you've just described, particularly of the over the 10-week wait. I mean, that is completely unacceptable. And I think other members will want to come in and question you on that. I just want to just ask one final thing, which is if you were planning for this from last July, so 12 months ago, this is not rocket science, is it? I looked back at the experience in the Passport Office over the last 12 years, and there's been criticism of from the National Audit Office of your ability to project and to plan. It just seems to me this is a complete failure if you were looking at this from last July and we're still now 12 months on with all these people not being able to get their passports. Why is that? Why have you failed so miserably?
So I would say a couple of things. The first thing is to say that we have achieved record output and we have produced more passports than we ever have previously. So a lot of our planning was directed towards that. We've done a lot of work with suppliers and others to ensure that we have the right stock of passports. We've brought in an increased numbers of staff to deal with these applications. For various reasons, which I'm happy to get into more detail with the committee for, there have been a smaller group of applicants, a smaller proportion of applicants for whom it has taken longer than we would like. And as I say, what we have done is we've put measures in place so that they can contact us and that where they do need their passport urgently, we are able to provide it.
Well, okay, I'm going to stop you there because we are going to come on to questions. But I had a look, for example, at the priority thing you can do online. I looked at it all through yesterday to try and see if I could get an appointment. And there were just no appointments. I looked at 6 o'clock this morning, there were no appointments. So I have to say to you, what you're saying about providing a service just doesn't hold water. I'm going to bring it.
Now, you'll kind of feel a little bit sorry for the guy as more you watch this, because he proper gets it from all angles. Now, again, this was on the 20th of July, and like before, there was so much going on, it was just hard to keep up, so this is probably the reason why I missed it. But you'll see in the next couple of videos, it just looks like absolute chaos at the Passport Office, doesn't it? So much so, Simon Calver barely spoke in the entire meeting. The guy was getting torn to bits from pillar to post, to a point where the excuse about no trains running in his area, wonder if there's any truth in that, or whether he just thought, I don't really fancy meeting this lot in public, in person. It was like everyone wanted a piece of him. So what do you think? Absolute chaos in the Passport Office? Right, I shall leave the video here, and till the next time, I shall bid you farewell and take care.